Welcome back, everybody. Well, it is a new hour-long weekday show, The Hill, a political ensemble program featuring a high-profile guest as they sit among 4 rotating panelists and aim to tackle subjects that matter most to journalists. Joining us live today to tell us more about it and everything you need to know is Chris Stirewalt, politics editor for News Nation. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Great to have you with us. So we're really excited about this new show. Tell us really what we need to know, what you're hoping to capture, what viewers can expect, because it seems very compelling.
Well, you mentioned that it would be the stories that are important to journalists, and I don't care about journalists. I am one, and I don't care what stories are important to us, because too much of what comes out of Washington is self-serving. It's a self-licking ice cream cone, right? The point is that we think it's important, so it's important, and then we talk about how important we are. This has to be, in order to honor what Nexstar is about and what News Nation is about, this has to look out. This is a Washington-based show. It's all about politics. It's all about government. It's all about that stuff. But it is based in Washington, but it's not for Washington. It's for normal Americans who need to have a better understanding about how all this works, because people want to be good citizens. People want to be well informed. People want to participate. We need to make that easier. We need to make that more accessible, and I think we can do that because, quite frankly, we like each other. We treat each other. We're going to treat each other with respect, and we're going to have a conversation that sees each other first as human beings and as Americans, not just as partisans, not just as the color of the jersey that we're wearing.
You hit upon so many salient and important points right there, but at the core of this, Chris, is the fact that I really believe audiences truly want to make a connection. They want to be involved in the discussion. They want to connect with you, and they want to know that they're being heard.
Well, of course, and we're talking about the politics is so important, right? Our politics and government are so important, but we don't treat it that way, right? We don't honor the important part, and what we end up doing is treating it like sports, right? My team won, your team lost, this was good, that was bad. And that's all well and good, and that's fine. What's interesting and what's of value for people who want to participate in our democracy, for people who want this republic to be all the things that it can be, is to add light, not heat. To open things up and illuminate them with a frank discussion, a frank and respectful discussion, not just score points and not just talk about which team is going to win and which team is going to lose. And here's what I know. So much national TV and political news talks down to its audience, right? It talks down to its audience, and it assumes that what they want to hear is the worst, most rotten, nastiest thing possible to make them feel good about the other side feeling bad. I don't think that's true. I think there's a huge audience out in this country of Americans who want to see the country succeed and don't care about hurting the other side more than they care about the country succeeding. I think there are just tens and tens of millions of Americans who want to see a better politics, and we can just be a little part of that. We can have a little hour of the day where we can be a part of that.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be terrific. Chris, a great pleasure to chat with you. Thank you so much for being with us. The Hill debuts this Monday with special guest, former Vice President Mike Pence at 5 p.m. Head to newsnationnow.com/join us to find the channel in your area.